Good evening. My name is Abe, and this is my wife, Betsy. We are the Pauls. We've been married for 17 and a half years and been attending IBC for about 4. We have 2 kids, a daughter, Alyssa, who's 11, and a son, Elijah, who is 9.
So if you watched last month's date night, you saw the pews, and you may remember Shannon saying that couples who really love each other match. So we really took that to heart, and since then, we've been matching ever since. And our love is through the roof. I'm telling you, our marriage has never been stronger. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
So Abe and I come from similar backgrounds. Our parents are immigrants, and they're from India. You know what? Technically, we're immigrants too. I mean, you came when you were 2, and I'm from Canada. So, and you know what they say about immigrants.
We get the job
done. So like I said, our parents are from India, and our moms were nurses. We were raised in Indian churches and even the same denomination. Similar values, traditions, beliefs. And somehow, after we got married, Abe still couldn't read my mind. Shocking, I know. We had to quickly learn how to communicate our needs, our wants, and expectations in a healthy and productive way.
So one of the ways that we've been able to do this is making sure that we have a daily catch-up. Early in our marriage, we would do this daily catch-up at the end of the night in our bedroom, but we've moved that to the kitchen, partly because I would keep falling asleep in the bedroom, but I have yet to fall asleep at the kitchen table. We would just catch up and focus on the things that were important for the day for each other. If we didn't have the chance to do that, especially with kids in the picture, we need to be able to connect as a couple. And we also would use this time for us to pray together and pray for each other specifically.
Yes, but today we would like to introduce you to something. If you haven't heard of it, it's the idea of doing a weekly marriage meeting. It should last anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. This makes it easy so that you can do it weekly. And the weekly marriage meeting was created by someone named Marsha Naomi Berger. And she's a therapist and the author of Marriage Meetings for Lasting Love, 30 minutes a week to the relationship you always wanted. So I too have recommended this for couples that I've counseled, and it's definitely a powerful tool to help a marriage be stronger and can also help a marriage who's struggling.
So there is a 4-part agenda for this marriage meeting. So the agenda includes step 1 or item 1, showing appreciation. Step 2 or item 2, discussing household chores. Item 3, planning for good times. And then finally, item 4, resolving issues. So we'll go over each of these and model some of the examples for you and allow you some space and time to try it with your spouse tonight. Berger also believes that the specific order is important, so be sure to do it in this order. She believes having a structure is more effective and a set time than trying to do this on the fly. So let's go into appreciation. So appreciation kicks off this meeting, right? And it consists of simple but encouraging words of affirmation or gratitude. This brings good energy into the meeting and allows each partner to take uninterrupted time to express their gratitude for what the spouse has done during that course of the week. Right? Each person can think of everything that they would like to appreciate their spouse for and go through that list with their spouse. So a couple of tips for you guys. If you're like me, plan ahead. Not very articulate on the spot, or if be put on the spot, be difficult to come up with things. So use an app or whatever other journal that you want to use to capture those items. Of course, you can appreciate your spouse in real time, but then also use the same example during your weekly marriage meeting. Be specific, sharing details that you are paying attention. So for example, saying, honey, you're a great cook, versus, honey, the chicken marsala dish you made on Friday was fantastic, and I love the dessert as well. The apple pie was one of the best I've ever had.
So also keep it 100% positive. This is not the time to criticize in the guise of gratitude. Don't say things like, I appreciated that you actually washed the dishes last night instead of leaving it in the sink for me to do. Don't say stuff like that.
So here's a couple of examples of categories that you could compliment or appreciate your spouse for. Obviously, there's physical appearance, any behaviors or character traits, big or small, are great starting points. So for example, you look great in that blue denim shirt.
Why, thank you. Okay, now you and your spouse try it. Think about something this past week that you can appreciate your spouse for. The more specific, the better. And we're back. So the second thing is discussing household chores. So Berger calls this the business part of the meeting. So this is where you coordinate whatever you need to get done or fixed. You agree on priorities, timelines, and who will do what. Teamwork is promoted and jobs get handled. You don't talk about chores for which you've already established a routine for that's working and you've already divided the duties up. Instead, discuss chores that aren't getting done and that are more occasional than reoccurring. So some tips: don't demand anything from your spouse. Don't demand them to do a specific chore, but instead try and compromise. Remember, you are in this together. You are a team. Todoist app is an app that makes this very easy. So you can try this. You can share the list. You can divide up the chores, put a completion date on it, and then it will remind you. And if you don't complete it in time, it will send you a reminder for it to be that it's overdue. So this is a good time to bring up something that you want changed as well. For example, babe, I noticed that on Tuesdays, normally I make dinner on Tuesdays, but it's gotten really hard with the kids' schedules and the different things that we have going on, and I've just been really stressed and trying to get dinner in and ready. So it would be really helpful if maybe you could grab something on the way home, or maybe you could cook on Tuesdays. What do you think about that?
Sure, I can grab something or make something. I can handle that.
Okay, great. See, that was easy. And now we've communicated that, and we know that Tuesdays are hard for me, and now we have to think of something else to do for Tuesdays. At your next meeting, review what got done, discuss what didn't, and set new goals and deadlines for the following week. So another example would be, babe, I kind of keep forgetting to tell you, but the change oil sign on my car is on, and it has been on for a couple weeks. And I've been meaning to tell you, but since now we can talk about it, do you think we could maybe get that scheduled, or maybe do you mind if you have time this weekend, maybe you can take it in and we can get that done and I don't need to worry about it?
Sure, let me see what's going on this weekend.
Great.
Yeah, I think Saturday morning we can go ahead and schedule that and get that done.
Great. So check that off the list. That's wonderful. Okay, now it's your turn. Think about a chore or something you'd like to get done this next week.
back. So item 3 on the agenda for the marriage meeting is planning for good times. This is to solidify your relationship and your friendship and deepen and nurture your marriage. So when this is a time when you talk about your next date night, planning for something fun, whether it's for yourself, guys' night out, girls' night out, family vacations, vacations as a couple. So anything that brings energy and recharges you. Berger recommends that you try to have a weekly date night. For us, the reality is, if we in this season of life, we are fortunate if we have a monthly date night, or sometimes twice a month. But with COVID, it's been a lot more difficult. We've been consistent in trying to connect at the end of each night, and that's been helpful. So here are a couple of tips for you guys. So if you can't afford a regular date night, you can always plan for a romantic date at home. So maybe cook a meal together, order in, watch a movie. You can also go for a hike, go for a walk around the neighborhood or a park, grab dessert afterwards, do a scavenger hunt, be creative. So here's an example of a fun activity or planning for good times. So babe, I know we had some nice plans for the summer this summer to fly somewhere, but obviously COVID is throwing everything for a loop. I was looking into some options perhaps where we could drive and get away for a long weekend or for 3 or 4 days. And so Broken Bow comes up. I've heard great things about that, and found a couple of good cabins for us to look at. And it looks like they're available the first week of August. So what do you think about that?
Oh, that's great. That sounds like a great idea, and that's a perfect time. I think the kids would really like that.
All right, let's get that in the calendar.
Perfect.
All right. Now it's your turn. Talk to your spouse on one of the things that we discussed, and get it in your calendar. So if you've already talked about a fun activity, add some additional details and get that scheduled and planned for.
And we're back. Okay, so the fourth and final thing is the problems and challenges. So the problems and challenges part of the marriage meeting comes last by design. By this time, the two of you are feeling appreciated, you're confident that chores are gonna get done, and you're already looking forward to the fun things that you plan to do together. You should hopefully be feeling upbeat and have the confidence to tackle any challenges that you may be facing together or even just in life in general. This is where you want to resolve any big or little issues, or at least begin the conversation. Berger says to start off with the little things first. This is because the goal is to have a successful meeting and feel good about the process so you can have another meeting. So a little meeting example would be, so I've been struggling because I've been trying to eat healthier and be good, but it's been kind of hard and it's kind of been bothering me that, you've been eating your junk food and, desserts and stuff in front of me. So that makes things a little hard for me. So I was wondering if you wouldn't mind maybe not eating it in front of me or putting it away where I can't see it, at least for a while till I get into the habit of eating good.
Sure, babe. I can eat my Haagen-Dazs ice cream somewhere else.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that. So that would be an example of a little issue. A bigger issue would be things surrounding things like money, sex, parenting issues, relationships with in-laws or other family members. So don't do that right now. Save those for meetings 2, 3, and 4 and after. The important thing is to feel okay and good about communicating with each other about these issues in a relaxed atmosphere and work on good communication skills that are respectful. So some tips. Some tips for this one is active listening. So active listening is really key and really important here, meaning that you let the other person say what they need to say without interrupting them. Then reflect back what you heard, checking if you got it right. The end result is that you both feel like you've been heard, you both had a chance to be the listener and the speaker, and you both feel like you've been understood. So this helps us to connect and grow. And next one is to use our nonverbal communication effectively. Did you know only 7% of our communication is verbal? The rest is our body language. So give good eye contact, thoughtfully nod, lean in, and be engaged. Thank you. Come with one challenge to discuss first. Set a timer for like 10, 15 minutes. If it's a big issue, maybe 20 minutes. But when the timer ends, and if you haven't resolved something, agree to revisit it the following week. So another example would be, okay, so babe, lately I've been feeling a little frustrated and exhausted. So Elijah takes a lot out of me, and caring for him, working with him, taking him to his appointments. I would love to feel like we're more of a team. I'd appreciate it if you could help me more with him, maybe at night or when you're at home. You could do more bonding activities with him so that I could have more of a break and feel like you are really in this with me.
So, babe, I'm sorry about that. And so if I'm hearing you right, you are, at the end of each day, getting exhausted and feeling burnt out after caring for Elijah through the busy day, shuttling him around to all the different appointments, helping him through his activities, and spending a lot of energy on him. Am I hearing you right?
Yes. And I just want us to feel like we're a team and you're in this with me.
Okay. So what do you think about me maybe taking over in the evenings with him and putting him to bed, reading with him, and spending some time with him during the evenings when I get home?
Yes, that would be great.
All right, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now it's your turn. Think of one issue you'd like to discuss, but do it respectfully, and the other person reflect back what you heard and come to some kind of resolution.
And some final tips to wrap up the night. Have a system to record what you discussed or decided, either your smartphone, calendar, paper, whatever app that you may use. One other tip to keep in mind, use that smartphone during certain times of this marriage meeting. Ideally in the scheduling for good times and
The chores.
the chores, right? So during the appreciation time, give undivided attention to your spouse. And of course, as you're working through challenges and issues, give undivided attention to your spouse. So the other tip that I would encourage you guys, keep this meeting fairly short, 15 to 30 minutes, right? You may run into some thorny issues that may take 45 minutes, but the goal here is to have a meeting that occurs on a regular, consistent basis. You also want to try to do it on a weekly basis. So some of our schedules may not allow for that, but the point here, the objective here is not to allow a lot of time pass so that issues or challenges start to build and grudges start to form.
So what if one person doesn't want to do it? Figure out why. Is it because maybe they feel like the to-do list is going to be too long, or maybe are they worried about being put down or criticized? Remember, this is to be a safe space and time for both people. It's a time to feel valued and appreciated, and it promotes intimacy and addresses issues. We recommend also ending in prayer. You can begin and end in prayer. Just bring God into the center of this meeting. Berger also recommends thanking each other for being a part of the meeting. And that's mostly just for showing respect to the other person. So no matter where you're at in your marriage, if you're super strong and close and tight, or if you're kind of struggling a little bit and you're not really feeling close right now, respecting each other's time, that the other person showed up, they're willing to show up and willing to go through this with you, I promise you it will make a difference and you will feel closer and it will benefit the both of you. So just look at each other and just say, hey, let's try one meeting. Let's try it this Sunday afternoon or evening, or whatever day or time that works best for both of you. You should both be awake and alert, not pressed for time. So for your first meeting, load up on those appreciations. Start now. Think of stuff. Write it down so when you're with each other, you can say it, and it's not going to be like one person is just thinking, what do I need to appreciate you for? You have it ready, and the other person will feel wonderful when they hear it. Make it simple. 2 chores max, 1 to 2 chores max, and 1 challenge to address. This meeting levels the playing field, so allow the quieter person to take the lead on the steps and even the meeting. So go ahead and give this a real try. Abe and I are here for you, and we're available if you need as well. We will also have a handout with more details and examples for those wanting it, so you can follow the plan and how to do it together. So for more information on marriage meetings or on Marsha Berger, visit marriagemeetings.com. That's marriagemeetings with an S.com. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good night.